G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. Hope you're having a fantastic day, and with that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the Barbie, and let's get right into it. Posted by user ThrowRAManny, titled, Am I the asshole for going to my brother's bachelor party? I, male 28, have a girlfriend, female 22, Nalia, and we've been dating for close to a year at this point. We have a great relationship leading up to this point, and now I'm just in shock at the position that we're now in. Nalia and I recently found out that she was pregnant. It was shocking to say the least, because we weren't actively trying, because her and I were under the impression that she will never be able to naturally conceive children. She told me that when she was younger, she went through some horrible stuff, and as a result of that, the doctor told her that she will never probably be able to have a kid of her own without medical intervention. So, this was a somewhat of a miracle baby, and we were both fully prepared to have this baby, until she unfortunately miscarried. It was really horrible to say the least. She fell into a depression, and I was sad too. 2 weeks later, I had a trip planned for my brother's bachelor party. This was planned way before we even found out that she was pregnant. She told me how she didn't want me to go, and that she still needs me, but I wasn't sure what she wanted me to do if I stayed. I told her that I'll be back in 3 days, and she seemed fine with that answer because she gave me the go-ahead. The day I was leaving, she asked me, "Are you seriously actually going to go?" And I told her that I had to since the ticket and hotel is non-refundable, so I did end up going. The whole trip I barely heard from her, and I tried calling her, and she just ignored me. I came home from the trip to our apartment, and all of her stuff was gone, and she took my dog and dropped it over to my parents' house. I went to my mum's house and picked up my dog, and she told me that my girlfriend dropped the dog off because she couldn't watch it and she needed space from me. I told my mum what happened, and she told me that I was an idiot and an asshole for what I did. I don't believe that what I did was wrong by going on this trip, like she told me I could go. I tried calling her to sort this out because I love her, and I've just been ignored so far. So, am I the asshole? Edit, yes, sorry for the typo, I'm a male. I'm at work and she told me point blank that I could go. Second edit, I get it, my spelling sucks, I wrote this at work. Second, I'm not blaming my girlfriend for me going to Vegas. I'm just simply saying that she gave me an okay that I thought at the time she truly didn't care. Lastly, saying remarks regarding that her having a miscarriage was the best thing that could happen is extremely hurtful. You can say I'm an asshole without saying that. OP? Sometimes your partner will tell you, it's okay, I'm fine, and you have to read between the lines and realize they're not fine. Sometimes communication is less than direct, and it's up to you to pick up on that and not just take it at face value. I think what you've done is wrong, and I think you've upset her while she was extremely vulnerable, and I think that yes, you're the asshole in this situation. Now in the comments, Freedom Soul Spirit says, quote, I told her I'll be back in 3 days, and she seemed fine with that answer because she gave me the go-ahead. Did she say something like, I'm fine if you go, or something like, fine, go then? Edit OP's response, she said, I don't care, just go. So I took it at face value. I'm not a mind reader. Well, that's definitely in the something like, fine, go then category, which means that she was tired of explaining why she needed you to stay, so she gave up. You don't have to be a mind reader to know that she didn't want you to go. She told you, you ignored her, and you told her that you were going. When you were leaving, she told you again. You ignored her again and went anyway. It's not surprising she left you. You're the asshole. This is weaponized incompetence 100%. I'm not a mind reader? He says like he doesn't understand that I don't care, just go is not the same thing as I'm fine with you going. Also, it's not like she didn't speak her mind. She literally asked him and told him she needs him and to please not leave her alone. Yeah, he knows she's depressed. Now, of course, she's not communicating perfectly, but I don't care, just go is quite obviously her giving up, despite not being okay with it. I can't stand men like this who are always the ones complaining about how women just never say what they mean. Like, do they not, buddy? Or have they said it so many times and it keeps falling on deaf ears that they just give up? Yeah, most women say stuff quite clearly. We do tend to formulate things as a question at first because we are socialized to not try to impose our opinion, but that's generally to open the discussion, and it's generally quite transparent. For example, Is there a particular reason you put that there? No. Then could you put it in its intended storage in the hallway closet next time, please? That's not cryptic, that's just trying to be polite. In my mini scenario, of course the man can say, yes, I don't know where it goes. Yes, I really needed to go to the bathroom and I forgot to put it away. Yes, I find this shelf much more convenient than a closet, etc., etc. Honestly, I think the whole stereotype of women never say what they mean was caused by men who didn't listen or who ignored their clearly stated wishes. Holy Gonzo says, you left to go on a fun trip shortly after your girlfriend had gone through a physically and emotionally traumatic experience? Where in that sentence do you feel like you did the right thing? You're the asshole. And now onto the update. I appreciate the feedback, even though very harsh, and I know I'm definitely in the wrong. I want to apologize to my girlfriend. I realized I effed up badly. She agreed to meet up with me later and talk. Final update, for anyone that still cares, thanks for all the judgments and advice, and me and Nylia had a deep discussion. She cried to me and apologized, and we are on good terms now, and we are still grieving. If you ask me, that kinda sounds like a lie and that didn't happen, but hey, I hope reconciliation happened. I doubt very much that Nylia is the one that needed to apologize or did apologize. Anyway, in the comments, yikes. Sometimes you really have to wonder how some people just lack the ability to empathize with others. She miscarried a child she never thought she'd be able to have, and he supported her for all of 17 days before leaving to go to a party. Wow. Just wow. What the hell does OP mean, she apologized? It means that he needled and whined and manipulated her into agreeing that he's the victim here. My personal opinion, given his latest updates, I 100% believe that he gaslighted or manipulated her in that conversation because Nylia had the right to be upset. I hope she runs into this post. Yep, I agree. And what the hell was she apologizing for? Our next post is by user Fluff Llama Pajama titled, "Would I be the asshole for not having my cancer-stricken ex-husband stay with me through his treatment? For most of our marriage, my husband, 39 male, and I, 37 female, had a very happy relationship. We had good jobs, decent money, 2 kids, and loved each other. Then he got diagnosed with a rare form of cancer, and we went through years of painful treatments and recovery together. We moved to a small house to be close to the research center where he underwent treatment. His parents paid half of the down payment on the house, the other half was from our savings and investments. In the divorce, he gave me the house and took all of his medical debt. We've been divorced a year, but now his cancer has come back and he needs treatment again at the same research hospital. He wants to stay in what is now my house while undergoing treatment, and his parents expect me to house him and look after him because he was generous in letting me have the house without taking his rightful share from the equity. When we were married and he was undergoing treatment, it was new stuff that was expensive and also very physically draining on him. We were lucky that both our jobs were supportive and flexible, but with his health issues, little kids, and expenses, we had to downgrade our lifestyle a lot. That, plus the physical changes in his body, made him very depressed. Whenever he felt a bit better, he'd go stay in his hometown. It's a small town where most of his family and a lot of his childhood friends live. I was doing all the caretaking of him, while also dealing with insurance complications. I was also managing the kids, the entire household, and my full-time job. We had help from friends and neighbors, but it was very hard. I wasn't happy about him spending his healthy days away from us, but it was good for his mental health, so I didn't feel like I could object. When he was staying there, he had reconnected with his high school girlfriend. A couple of years ago, he admitted to me that he was sleeping with her, and I filed for divorce. He had fully recovered from his cancer by then. There are other aspects around the cheating that left me very heartbroken and feeling betrayed. His giving me the house and taking all the debt was an apology of a sort. His parents feel that I owe him for getting the house and should let him stay there for the 2 to 3 months that his treatment is at the facility. I do want him to be well, and I don't want my kids to lose a loving father, but I can't deal with having him around me, especially not if I end up being his nurse and caretaker again. I am still very bitter about how our marriage ended. A lot of people close to me are telling me that I should support him for the sake of my kids. Would I be the asshole if I say that I can't do that? Honestly, with the cheating and the fact that he wasn't there for you a lot of the time, I don't blame you in your decision not to house him. You poured your heart and soul out for this man who was struggling, and he's turned back in your face and spat in it multiple times. Those are not the actions of someone that loves you, and the event of a cancer coming up again is not any reason for you to turn around and forgive him. I stand by your choice not to house him and not to have anything to do with him, not the arsehole OP. In the comments, No Dragonfly4661 says, "Not the arsehole. Let his girlfriend take care of him." And OP replies, "They announced their engagement the day the divorce was finalized. That still hurts so much." Oh, what the hell? I kinda hate this guy, and I don't even know him. Agreed. It's hard to feel sorry for someone who is selfish, even though he's got cancer. A sick asshole is still an asshole. OP is definitely not the asshole. The side piece can carry the burden of caring for him. The in-laws can take a running jump. A sick asshole is still an asshole. This should be OP's response to anyone who asks. This says it all. He chose to spend his healthy days away from his kids too. He's not a good dad. So he left OP to handle all of his insurance issues instead of being with his kids or, I don't know, helping with his own insurance issues, or helping with his wife, or, I don't know, doing something romantic for her. I bet OP was exhausted. Because let's face it, there's always insurance issues, and this can turn into its own full-time job. On top of taking care of kids and a sick husband, I'm surprised OP's job survived this. I can only imagine how hard it was to raise kids, handle the insurance, and care for a sick husband. I wouldn't want to go through that again too, especially knowing that he was cheating, and this time he would be spending his healthy days away from you again with the side piece who he married. And announcing your engagement the day of your divorce is always an FU to the first spouse. You can't even wait a week after cheating the whole time? Jeez. Either the in-laws don't know the extent of cheating, or they don't care. He was staying with them while cheating with OP, so I wouldn't be jumping through hoops to please them. Just Browsing 086 says, "Not the asshole. Even without the cheating and whatnot, caretaking is a full-time job, and it's very taxing emotionally, mentally, and physically. You're not his wife anymore. You have no obligation to do this." And OP replies, "The last time I did it out of love. I can just not do it now. It was very difficult. The big upside to me in getting divorced was not having to deal with that anymore. As difficult as it is to take care of a sick person, dealing with the insurance bureaucracy and keeping track of all the medical contacts and treatment details is a pretty big logistical nightmare." Texas Liz replies, "Did he ever marry the girlfriend? Why isn't her infectious laugh curing things now? I'd ask his parents if they expect you to let him and his new wife live at your place. We divorced. There's a new woman who is supposed to be taking the nurse and a purse role that I happily relinquished." And OP replies, "This made me laugh. Thank you." And now, onto the update. So the Sunday after I made the post to Am I the Arsehole, my ex-in-laws picked up the kids for a zoo trip. They sometimes come to pick them up to entertain them, and so I thought nothing of it. A few hours later, a very teary and contrite mother-in-law dropped off 2 bawling kids with me. She told them their dad is sick and will die if he doesn't stay with us and go to the hospital. We hadn't had a talk with the kids yet about the diagnosis, and she dropped it on them that he is dying from cancer. He is not dying. It's a painful treatment, but he'll recover. I was so furious, I was raging. I called the ex and tore him a new one. He was shocked too, and we exploded together at his mum. She broke down and cried, begging me not to take away her grandkids from her, as if I'd trust her after this. X and I together talked to the kids, him on video, and assured them that yes, he is sick, but he'll be fine. He just needs to go to the hospital and they'll make him better like the last time he was sick. The kids settled after that, but my oldest has been at me crying and begging to make Dad come live with us. I promised them that I'd talk to Dad and figure out what's the best thing to do. I swallowed a lot of bile to talk to him about why he was doing this. We had a pretty long and detailed discussion. The bottom line is that he's broke, still has a decent job, but his credit is ruined. He has a lot of debt and he stupidly got the cheapest insurance that barely covers anything. Fiancé is no help either. She's worse off financially, so he needs a place to stay. He can't afford this otherwise. His parents are funding some of his medical payments and are already stretched. He was financially alright when we broke up, so I have no idea what happened in such a short time. Anyways, X and his girlfriend moved into my daughter's room. My daughter happily gave it up to her dad and is sharing her little brother's room. Both kids are over the moon happy to have their dad in their home. My daughter keeps checking on him every few minutes to make sure he's still okay. Mother-in-law traumatized my kid. I'll never forgive that woman for this. I let the girlfriend move in with him because I was too angry to care about who came to look after him as long as it wasn't me. I didn't know how I could bear having her in my home, but it appears to be more misery for her than me, and that strangely makes it more tolerable for me. She is teary-eyed and crying all the time. It's only been 3 days, but I am so annoyed that I want to shake her and tell her to pull it together. The current treatment plan is for 3 months. I'm counting down the days. I am thankful for the many people who gave me great advice on my last post. I wasn't expecting things to go this way, but they played me by manipulating my kids. I'll slowly pull myself and the kids away and move, but for now I've got to deal with this for my kids' sake. Edit to add, I was trying to make this update more than a week ago. So to add to that, X's treatment is coming along nicely. The tumors that grew again are much smaller than before, and the new stuff that they are giving him is more directed too, so he's not having as many bad symptoms as he had last time. I had promised myself that I would do nothing to help, and I stayed away from both X and his fiancée, but I did end up helping him deal with insurance. His fiancée has the personality of a wet noodle and cries all the time. It was easier for me to do it than to deal with her struggling. X is polite enough to me, but his personality has changed. He's a different person and not very nice towards his fiancée. I didn't expect to, but I feel sorry for her. In the comments, Glum Hamster says, "This is definitely a case of the grass not being greener on the other side. Honestly, sell the house. Your ex will always need treatment and he will always ask to stay with you. You don't have to move cities or states, but move far away from that clinic. The house is legally yours. Take the money and buy something that fits your budget for you and the kids. Do not give him any of that money. It's your house, your sale, your money. Him and the family need to figure out what to do without depending on you." And OP replies, "I've started looking into selling and am researching places to move to. But it is so very difficult. I don't have the budget to put the house on the market while I live elsewhere, especially if it takes longer than 2 months to sell. I also don't feel secure opening the house for showings while my kids and I live here. The other issue is that I don't have close family that I can rely on, and here in this neighborhood, I had built up an awesome support system between neighbors and friends. Giving that up and starting somewhere new with 2 little kids in tow is daunting. I'm trying to evaluate which option is the bigger con." Jalenrix replies, "Is an alternative sitting down with your husband and kids to explain that this is a one-time offer? After these 3 months are up, they need to start saving and planning for any future care." And OP replies, "I talked to my ex about it before he moved here. He agreed never again. With my daughter though, I am going to wait to have that conversation when she's not so freaked out about her dad's mortality." Calm Assist 2676 says, "I would never trust ex-mother-in-law with the kids, ever. Like, never again. And have a hard talk with the kids about manipulation, because that is exactly what she did. Weaponized the kids and their love for their dad to get what she wanted." OP replies, "Yes, my blood still boils about that. I never talk bad about the ex to kids, but I talk to them about how what their grandmother did was wrong, and they understand that to some extent." NoFee161 says, "I think you should feel vindicated because you came out on top of this situation. You were the most capable and most mature adult in that bunch. You're a saint for letting them stay, but don't give him a cent since you mentioned that he is broke." And OP replies, "You know, in some ways I do feel better about things since they moved in. At the end of the day, my life is fine. I don't plan on giving him any money." I'm glad that it ended this way personally, and all the best to OP and the ex-husband in navigating this issue in the future. What do you guys think about this one? Let me know in the comments down below. Our next post is by user TheSmartA55, titled, "Am I the asshole for lying to a coworker that a friend of mine is not single?" So I have a coworker who has shown interest in a friend of mine and asked me if he is single. He is, but this girl is a party girl while my friend is less party-oriented. She's constantly talking about the dudes she's having fun with, while at the same time lamenting that she can't get a guy to marry. She acknowledges that the guys she's having fun with are not marriage material. She's had some dates with guys that are apparently looking for a serious relationship, and she's a completely different person with them. She pretends to be a homegirl and straight up lies about having one-night stands pretty frequently. So, my friend group was out when we suddenly bumped into her and just said hi, did some small talk, and introduced her to my group of 4, and then went on our separate ways. Later at work, she asked me about John, not real name, if he was single, and if I could hook them up. I told her that he wasn't single, and she started asking about their relationship, how long it's been, is it solid, etc. I told her that I don't have many details as we don't hang out that frequently, which is another lie, and then I deflect by telling her that I had to go. Now I'm worried that the lie is going to eventually blow up on me, but I feel that she's a horrible match for John. I have no doubt that she'd be able to weasel into his life if given the chance, as she's pretty attractive. So, am I the asshole for lying to my coworker about my friend? Personally, if you don't think that the relationship would be solid and they wouldn't be a good match for each other, I don't see you being an asshole for this white lie. I would think that you're doing right by them and saving them both upset in the future by just not allowing this to happen in the first place. So I'm saying not the asshole for this one. In the comments, Mink27000 says, "Not the asshole in my opinion. You know your friend pretty well and know that this girl isn't going to be good for him in the long run. I think you're a good friend for doing that, but it would be good as well to tell him the truth if you think he can handle resisting her. The fact that she was trying to see if his relationship was solid gives me the icky feelings that she would test boundaries. Same, I get the feeling she hasn't experienced many rejections to her face." That part was what made my thinking immediately go to not the asshole. At the beginning I was thinking, well, sometimes opposites can be good for each other and have good relationships, but as I read, she just sounds like she can't find the type of man she's looking for because she isn't the type of woman they would go for. How is taking away your friend's agency by making the decision for him being a good friend? If you really wanted to be a good friend, you'd tell the truth and let the friend decide whether or not to reject the girl. Lying about the situation because you don't think your friend is smart enough to make a good decision for himself seems like a major asshole move to me. Seriously, I don't understand how the not the assholes are getting all the upvotes here and all the you're the assholes are getting downvotes. Tiny Palpitation replies, "It's not a terrible idea to not want to commingle your social life with your work life. If she's that interested, she can seek him out on her own. If OP gets involved and things go sideways, he could find himself sitting in some HR meeting that I'm sure he'd rather not be a part of. Plus, if OP gives John a heads up about the little lie and why OP felt that it was necessary, as well as the possible HR issues and lost friendship if they do date and things go bad, then at least John can decide for himself as to whether or not he wants to take a chance or keep the lie going. Not the asshole. It is self-preservation, and I personally hate playing middleman. If you like someone, just ask them for yourself and leave me out of it." And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.